Hello everyone and welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Josh and look who I've got here. It's only Benroy Bloody Turner, your friend and mine, because the PlayStation Now service has made some pretty major changes, just kind of out of the blue. They've slashed their prices, they've added a bunch of games, and now it kind of seems as though it's shaping up to be a real competitor to the Games Pass, which I'm a recent convert of, and I know that Benroy absolutely loves. So we'll just sort of jump into the major changes as we know them now. The price in general has kind of been slashed in half. It's now only $9.99 a month or £8.99. Why was that so hard to actually say that? I don't know why.
Dollars
but either
and
way,
pounds.
dollars and pounds, who knows? It's been slashed in half, which is a pretty major move and now makes it a direct competitor to the Games Pass. And you can get a yearly rate, you can buy it in like a big chunk of a year's pass, which is just the price of a new game. It's $60, which makes it very, very, very tantalizing for someone like me who recently, ended their subscription because it was a tad too expensive, and now I'm kind of looking to go back.
Gonna come back, are you?
Maybe,
come back?
I don't know. This is the thing. This is why I'm so confused, because we have so many streaming services at the moment and so many different subscriptions. We've got EA Access, we've got Games Pass, we've got PlayStation Now, and juggling them all is difficult. But Benroy, what are your feelings just initially on the price cut, and what do you think of PS Now as a service?
Well, it's more of a step towards the fact that literally the console wars are done. We're kind of getting out the space of, sure, they want their box in everyone's living room, but they're also putting a lot of things out more on PC, like, especially with this new PS Now thing.
Yeah.
You can now play God of War and Uncharted 4, and you can play GTA 5 already on a PC, but via PS Now on PC, and it's just, they're making a step towards like land grabbing as we kind of get there.
That's it, isn't it?
And that price cut is directly to interact with the bottom tier of Game Pass, where if you just get Game Pass without the gold tied in or the super early, because if you had Ultimate, you can play Gears 4 or 5 4 days early.
Yeah.
So they've kind of just gone, right, we're going to eat some of their lunch now and just see how we go. It is God of War, it is Uncharted, let's get involved.
I think you described it before we came in here. Sony's kind of just attempted to whack their whopper down and said, look, he's some of our biggest games. He's God of War, he's Uncharted 4, he's GTA 5, which still sells like absolute hotcakes, and you can stream them now for a reasonable price.
Who's still buying that game?
I don't know, but it's always like, I'm pretty sure in the UK last month's top selling game, it was number 3.
Every month.
This game is 6 years old at this point. It's outrageous.
I mean, I bought it twice, but I don't know who's buying it now.
I don't know, Benroy, but people are, and it is even though it doesn't seem like much of a sort of get when Microsoft are putting their exclusives day and date on Games Pass as well as in stores. GTA 5 is kind of a massive deal still, but what I just said there is kind of a limitation of the PlayStation Now service, in my opinion. I think this is a great step in the right direction, but I do very much think it's only a step. For me, Games Pass still has the edge because you get those big exclusives, day and date. Like I said, you get the ability to download games across the board, not just Xbox One games.
Yeah.
And even the pricing itself, you get the Ultimate Edition of Games Pass. You get not only the chance to play those exclusives early, but you get Xbox Live Gold rolled into that for a very, very reasonable price point.
Let's put it this way, Game Pass is getting a lot of new stuff really close now. Like we get Metro Exodus has come out, DMC 5, Devil May Cry 5, who this boy is going to buy on PlayStation instead of get on Game Pass.
Look, that's a question for a different time.
But we're getting so many new titles that are coming so soon, and it's like, you should download it, it's on your console. But with PlayStation Now, it's just the problem of, yes, we can download PS4 titles, but say like the PS3 stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're on PC, you're going to have to stream this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And someone who played the Resident Evil light gun games on there, the streaming ain't always up that to crack. Especially when you've got good internet and you live alone, still doesn't work that well.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried the PlayStation Now service quite a few times ever since it launched, and when I first jumped in, it was really bad. It was really laggy. I jumped in earlier this year before these big changes to play through the Metal Gear Solid games, and it was much better, but still not perfect. Like I was going through.
How much Geyser did you need for the sniping?
Lots, man, because the lag was making me go all over the place in those sniper missions. But Metal Gear Solid 4, for instance, was mostly all right. But when I got to like the big sort of set pieces, the frame rate just kind of tanked. So there is still sort of work to be done on that front. Yeah. I would love it if they can somehow make all of the games that are available on the service kind of, downloadable. But, Benroy, I know what you're thinking. There is a reason for that, obviously, because as they boasted in the PlayStation blog, all of this information can be found over there. They claimed that we currently have the largest game library of any console game subscription service. A nice little dig at Games Pass there. And I think that's kind of like the real clincher, although you might not be able to download all the games and play them in their most perfect form. There are so many titles that you can actually play in comparison to Games Pass, which has a healthy, selection, but it's not as robust as, PlayStation Now.
I would say if you were to define yourself as like, I'm more of a PlayStation, which I am, but Game Pass, for me, so far, it's just been perfect. Like, you download it, it's there, and I know you keep harking on this, but you download it, and it's there, and you get no hitches, and you just get to keep it for as long as you want. And for me, having DMC5 on there, Gears of War 5 straight out of the gate, 4 days early on Game Pass Ultimate, like, that really got me to switch it from just Game Pass to Ultimate, just roll that all in, which is another thing that PlayStation haven't really sorted out yet. They've not got the PlayStation Plus rolled into PS Now, which is kind of like, if you want to do this, you need to probably, I know we're just starting, but you need to do that, and you also, I think they need to start putting their big hitters, like when we get The Last of Us 2. If that comes out day and day on PS, imagine if that comes out day and day on PS Now. I want to own that game physically. I want to get the little statue and all that.
Okay. This is going to be the big differentiation between the two, though. Obviously, Microsoft are all in, not only on Games Pass, but their ideas of their exclusives are not just sort of coming to their own consoles. They're going to come to PC. They might even come to Switch later on down the line. They have a very different approach, I think, when it comes to their console and their exclusives than Microsoft, because until recently, Sony rarely ever put their games on PC. They didn't allow crossplay or anything like that, and they're only now sort of opening it up. And even the games that we're getting here, like God of War and Uncharted 4, Thief's End, it's made clear that, again, in the blog post, and I quote, these games will only be available from October 1st, 2019 until January 2, 2020. Each month, the service will add a new selection of marquee games that will be available for a limited period. The marquee content is on top of the existing offering of popular evergreen titles that are added to PS Now on a regular basis. So, unlike Microsoft, which not only releases all their exclusives on Games Pass and keeps them there for the most part, Sony are kind of just rolling their biggest hitters through every couple of months, which is a good idea, but again, is that enough to topple Games Pass at the height of this subscription
If God of War
model?
doesn't stay on Games Pass, PS Now, then they're doing something wrong. Like, why would you take that off? Like, I get that you want to sell like the cheap greatest hits £25 sort of version, but now it's got to stay on there for it to be some sort of like viable thing. And also, when they come, we have the most games on our service. You see what Xbox did? We've got the most powerful console. It's still not really making any. It's still not really making budgets at all. So, like, figures can kind of speak, but in this terms, I think for now, Game Pass has the one over, and it's going to keep it up there. We're going to get a few converts, but these whole caveats need to be sort of like washed out first.
I agree, and like they even said, and sort of they've done a couple of interviews. Sony has been talking to the press and stuff, and they keep saying we know it's not perfect at the moment, but they are making steps. And considering that Sony used to be the company that pushed out things like the Vita and just allowed it to die, the fact that they're actually sticking with the service and trying to improve it is good in my eyes.
The Vita's still alive somewhere. It's still getting games.
I don't think it is, man. I don't think it is. I think Scott Tailford is the only person on this planet. He's probably playing it around there somewhere. I don't know what.
Oh, there's a lot of screaming. Someone's just got a Vita and it's working.
I think it's really telling, though, that all of these changes essentially kind of come immediately after Gears of War 5 does so well. Like, before that game sort of came out, I think people were kind of worried, or at least cautiously optimistic that it would do well, because it was launching, on Games Pass, and then it did phenomenally well, and all the headlines were, Gears 5 is a smash for Games Pass. Gears 5 proves how much of a success Games Pass is, and I don't think those were hyperbolic. Those were, for the most part, true. I might not have played Gears of War 5 so early had I not jumped into Games Pass, and that was the game that kind of made me a believer in it, because until then I was always really hesitant and kind of really worried. I thought it was going to be another PlayStation Now at launch and something I didn't need, but now I've just let that subscription roll on, partly because of that game.
I mean, I got Games Pass for Crackdown 3, that's a different story, but I think Games Pass has had a massive boost from Gears 5, and we used to judge games by how many units were sold. Like, we used to go, this sold, but Gears 5 sold, I think in the first few days, the first week, like 80,000 units, which is crap. But 3 million players in that first big weekend after Game Pass Ultimate. It just shows that I think we're going to have to judge this on how many people are playing this. And the fact that you said that this is all coming after Gears 5 has been kind of a smash hit for Games Pass and Microsoft, and just showing how valuable this sort of like online sort of like Netflix for games sort of way we're going to go with this sort of thing. It's really showing the future, and this is going to be the game we look back at saying Gears 5 was the tipping point for Game Pass.
I think you're absolutely spot on, to be fair, but the only worry I have going into sort of the age of subscription services is everyone jumping in on it. We're seeing it in the movie sort of universe where we had Netflix, we had Amazon Prime, now we've got Hulu, now we're going to get Disney Plus, we're going to get all of those, and now we're going to get, you know, Ubisoft Zone, we're going to get EA Zone. At what point does it sort of just become, you know, too bloated and too much for the average person to keep on top of all of these different subscriptions? I think it makes sense for the big console makers, but if every sort of publisher starts jumping in on it, it's going to implode on itself.
Yves Guillemot wants to get paid.
He does.
So get Uplay Plus so you can play Ghost Recon Breakpoint now.
So that's all we kind of know about the new changes to PlayStation Now for now, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is this going to be enough to make you want to try it out? Or are you already so into Games Pass that you're not even going to try out the competition has to offer because it's just so beautiful and good and excellent? But I hope Sony really sort of doubles down on this going into the generation, you know, next generation for PlayStation 5, especially with the launch of the Google Stadia, which, you know, doesn't sound like it's going to be a big deal, but Google have so much money and so many resources that they're going to have to, you know, act. And as always, competition does breed healthy new features. But yes, let us know down in the comments. And as always, I have been Josh, joined today by Ben Roy Turner.
See you later.
And we'll see you soon. Goodbye.